Hi and welcome to Excel Plus for all things Excel, tips, tricks and as much fun as you can have with Excel without even leaving the house. So we're on to tutorial 4 now of the interactive dynamic dashboard, and we're just starting to flesh out the revenue figures here on the region view. Now we just put in the first figures using an index formula, but at the moment, as we can see if we adjust the radio buttons, it doesn't really change in line with the comparative we've selected. So what we need to do, look at the column number. So the column number determines which row we want, which column we want, we want to be in column 2, 3 or 4. Now as luck would have it, the index buttons are linked to a cell which go from 1, 2 and 3. So if we just add that in there, +1, I've called it comp for comparative, I guess, +1, and there we are, budget, forecast. Now just copy that formula down, and of course it's rows 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the pivot table. So just overtype that, row 3 and row 4. I suppose we could have 1, 2, 3 and 4 there and point to that, but that's overkill really. We can easily type 1, 2, 3, 4 in. Alt and W to sum. Let's copy down the variance, and let's copy down the variance percentage. Let's have a look. 85.7 with a 12.4% on prior year. 85.7, 12.4% prior year. Yep. And now we've got to do the same thing with the year-to-date summary. Now, of course, it's the same row, but it's a different column. Let's have a look at our region revenue table. It's actually columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 that we want. So this is going to be the comparator plus 5. And again 1, 2, 3 and 4. Copy the other formulas down, and let's have a look. 29.9, 9.7%. Excellent. So we've got that table there, and it now varies nicely with the radio button. A nice quick change. So you can get a lot of data, because you can see a lot of tables. They may have actual to budget, actual to prior, actual to forecast, within a variance, within a percentage variance. You end up with a table which stretches all the way across the spreadsheet. I just think more is less. If you want to look at prior year, give it a proper look, then check your budget. You can see everything in one nice, neat little table. And if we look at the formatting as well, notice you get a lot of tables where there'll be a there'll be some formatting underneath, maybe blue, something of this nature. And my preference is essentially just to use white space. And often the headings are in bold, but the numbers are not, and it's the numbers that are important. So again, this is personal preference, and there are a lot of great tips in the book Excel Dashboards and Reports by Michael Alexander. I would check that out, and in that he very much emphasizes bringing the numbers to the fore and taking the headings to the background by use of white space and grey text. And I wasn't convinced myself initially, but I've tried it more and more, and have to admit, I had an earlier version of this with a great deal more formatting in, and I think this is much clearer. But I would hardly recommend that book. That's Excel Dashboards and Reports by Michael Alexander. Now we've got that table in, no problem whatsoever. Next thing is the traffic light, or the red, amber, green RAG status. So we need something to base it on. It's going to be based upon the percentage. So if we copy the percentage, we may as well do it here in advance. So there we go, we've got just a copy of those percentages there, and now we can add the conditional formatting. Highlight those cells again, and conditional formatting, icon sets, and there are your traffic lights. Look, they're showing up already. Now let's go in and manage rules. Let's go in and we'll edit this rule. Right, we need to determine what is red, amber and green, and those are the default settings. Now let's change it to a number, and the number will be determined by ourselves. So green is greater than 0 in this case, amber is between 0 and a minus value we will specify. And look what we have in our parameters tab, minus 0.55%. So now that cell controls what is the border between red and amber. It may be you only want 2%, 2.5%, you might want 10%. It's purely down to yourself, but at least you can alter it now from one cell rather than going back into dynamic, going back into the conditional formatting, which is often problematic if you don't highlight all the correct cells. You sometimes end up with the same formatting in many different cells, and it's actually quite easy to lose track of what it is you formatted and what you haven't. Tick show icon only, and then the number that's also in the cell will vanish. Let's apply. Aha! And there we are. So we don't get to see the number in the same cell, and why you would ever want to half the time is usually you don't. So it's great to have it hidden. And let's have a look earlier in the year, and we got a few that were a little off. You go minus 6%, but that's only minus 0.8% there, minus 6. That's an amber, that's a red. We can flip through the months, so this is quite good. We see the company improving. Against forecast though, not quite so good. As we can track through the months, but we can see it more or less improves. North America's a little off against budget. Prior year, well, 12% in the month, 9.7% year to date. Hell, most companies will be pleased with that. So there is the region view, and there are the conditional formats. I think I'll wrap it up there. I must be getting pretty close to 10 minutes. I hope I haven't gone over it. And we'll look at the comments and the waterfall chart next, and then we'll move to the lower part of the dashboard subsequent to that. So have a go with that. Keep on playing with Excel. It really is the gift that just keeps on giving. Check the channel. I'll upload another tutorial soon. Again, any queries, any Excel problems, anything you'd like me to solve, honestly, please, you just email me and I will attempt to solve it. If I can't, I'll find someone better than me who's maybe doing a tutorial on it, and I'll ask them, maybe. Cheers, but I'll speak again soon.